Welcome to Deep Library, where we don't just read books, we dive deep into their very soul. If you've ever felt like there's more to a story than just the pages, well, you're definitely in the right place. Today, we're unraveling layers you never knew existed, revealing hidden gems, secrets, and, wisdom. And hey, if you're not subscribed yet, maybe now's the time. Join a community that really appreciates knowledge. Just hit that button, or, well, you might miss out on some deep insights.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating about the source we're getting into today is exactly that sense of hidden depth. It's a book called The Law of Money, 19 Timeless Principles to Master Wealth. And it's less about quick tips and more about the kind of underlying forces.
Exactly. Forget those, fleeting tactics or visualizing cash just makes it appear. This deep dive is into something way more foundational. The idea that building wealth isn't random. It follows certain rules, principles anyone can understand and actually use.
Right. The author's very clear. This isn't some manual of methods with step-by-step plans. It's really about awakening what they call the silent powers inside you. Think of it like understanding the engine, not just how to press the pedals.
That really clicks. It's about getting to the core of how money actually moves, why it seems drawn to some people and just, ignores others. And the really compelling part is this idea that you can actually become the kind of person money, obeys in a way. So our mission here is to pull out those core principles, the blueprint for what the author calls financial self-construction.
And it's important to get the starting point. Money, right now, in our world, is a major tool. It's not good or bad inherently, but it's a primary way we access resources, opportunities for growth, learning, even, freedom.
Makes sense. The book makes this interesting comparison to older times. Like when physical strength or bartering was key, wealth looked different. But as society got more complex, trading ideas and all that, the energy driving wealth shifted. More intangible, coming from within. This is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah, what's fascinating is the claim that wealth isn't just hard work or even pure smarts. It's about aligning your conscious directed will with these universal laws. It's presented almost like gravity. It's always working, whether you see it or not, pulling or pushing financial success based on these deep principles.
So the key seems to be getting aware of these laws, right? So we can work with them, not just stumble around. The author sets up the book deliberately, each chapter building on the last, meant to spark thinking, build belief, and really challenge how we think wealth happens. We're not looking for a simple checklist, more like a framework for building ourselves up financially.
Exactly. And one of the first big insights is this strong focus on cause and effect in finance. If your income is always low, the author says, maybe look at your underlying thoughts. If money just slips away, maybe check your habits. If success feels just out of reach, perhaps your whole approach, your hand, as they put it, needs a rethink.
Okay, so let's start exploring that right kind of hand, those foundational principles. Chapter 1 gets into the law of the inner force. What's this potent inner spark all about?
Okay, so at its core, this law says the main driver isn't what's happening outside you, but this fundamental inner spark or will. Think of it as your internal engine, a deep power, often overlooked, but it's the bedrock wealth is built on. And importantly, it's not just a fleeting feeling like a burst of motivation. It's a consistent underlying force.
The seed analogy really helps picture it. A tiny seed has the whole blueprint for a huge tree, right? But its growth isn't just luck. It needs that built-in latent energy to actually sprout and grow. Our minds are kind of like that, holding this huge, often untapped potential.
Precisely. And the author argues that we often get it backwards today, focusing on external stuff, status, possessions, instead of cultivating this inner world of thought and conviction. True, lasting success, the book suggests, comes from nurturing this internal power, not chasing surface gains. And when it's properly activated, this inner force is almost magnetic. It starts attracting opportunities, aligning things with your goals.
But it's not just passive wishing, is it? There has to be a conscious, disciplined effort. We have to actively, challenge and break down those limiting beliefs that hold us back. That inner critic can be loud sometimes.
That's a really key point. The book emphasizes deliberate mental discipline, rigorously looking at your own thoughts and habits. Financial success, from this view, isn't chance. It's the direct outcome of an awakened, focused mind actively going after its highest goals.
I like the sculptor analogy too. Raw marble seems inert, right? But there's a masterpiece potential inside. It takes the sculptor's vision plus focused effort to bring it out. That inner force is like the vision seeing potential where others don't. And it guides us not just to any profit, but the right kind, the kind that fits who we are, our long-term goals.
And self-trust is huge here. Building confidence in your ability to handle challenges turns setbacks into lessons. This inner force isn't easily put off by failure. It uses those bumps as feedback to refine things and come back stronger.
Yeah, and with that stronger inner landscape, the whole idea of scarcity starts to loosen its grip. It gets replaced by a mindset that sees abundance, recognizing that abundance is sort of our natural state, but to really tap into it, we need purposeful action. It's not enough to just think about wealth. Every decision, every effort needs to come from knowing the powers in our mind, setting that cause and effect thing in motion.
This really does set the stage for everything else. This inner force, once you light it up, starts a cycle. Intelligent action draws opportunities, and each step forward reinforces your inner strength. So the law of the inner force is really the cornerstone, the quiet but powerful foundation, turning potential into real results.
Okay, so we've got this idea of an awakened inner force. Chapter 2 then introduces the principle of dynamic reciprocity. What's the gist of this one?
This one's basically about action and reaction. Every intentional move you make triggers a proportional response. It's presented as a fundamental law, kind of like Newton's laws in physics. Building on the inner force idea, it stresses that just wanting isn't enough. The world needs a tangible expression of that drive through action, and that action then generates a response.
So it's this dynamic back and forth. Our actions create ripples that shape what comes back to us. Like you have to put something out there to get something back.
Exactly. Think about tossing a stone in a still pond. The splash is small, but the ripples spread out, affect a bigger area, and eventually, come back, maybe as altered currents or whatever. Similarly, your actions, a well-thought-out plan, learning a new skill, send out these waves of influence, and they eventually return as progress or success. Even with obstacles, persistent effort can change the nature of those returning ripples.
But it's not just any action, right? The book really hammers home intelligent action, not just random effort. Like unfocused work probably just leads to scattered results. The quality and direction matter.
Totally. Every action should be purposeful, lined up with your main goals and that inner force we talked about. When you act with clarity, discipline, conviction, the world tends to respond in kind, often giving you the resources or chances you need. This is the big difference between just wishing and actively working. Desire alone is static. Achievement comes from turning thought into deliberate action.
And each step is framed as an act of faith, a real demonstration of engaging with the world, believing you can influence it. And every positive, purposeful action reinforces that, leading the environment to respond with actual evidence of your determination.
What's really crucial, though, is that the initial reaction might not be exactly what you expected. This is where the dynamic part kicks in. Dynamic reciprocity means learning and adapting based on the feedback. A challenge isn't failure, it's valuable info, a signal to tweak your methods.
So perseverance and intelligent recalibration become key tools. When you hit resistance, the question isn't, do I quit? But how can I adjust my actions to get a better reaction? Obstacles become chances to refine things.
And ultimately, this principle is a great equalizer. It doesn't just favor certain people. It rewards consistent action with integrity, purpose, persistence. It reinforces that the wealth you want isn't some random fantasy, but a real outcome of clear, consistent, thoughtful effort. Every deliberate move adds up.
Okay, inner force, action gets reaction. Chapter 3 brings in the law of attraction. Now, this is a term people might have heard before. How does this source frame it for wealth building?
Right, the law of attraction here is presented as this powerful, unseen force, almost like magnetism. The core idea, like attracts like. So the dominant vibe of your thoughts and actions, that heavily influences the kind of wealth and how much comes your way. It's not just feel-good thinking. It's framed as an active process, channeling your inner world into real material results.
And the mechanism for this, the book says, is that every thought has a specific vibration, right? An energy frequency interacting with the environment. So if your mind is constantly on abundance, expecting success, you project this magnetic energy that pulls opportunities and resources to you. But dwelling on doubt, scarcity, failure, that pushes prosperity away.
Precisely. It's about consciously tuning your mental and emotional state to match your vision of wealth, creating this receptive energy field. The analogy of a finely tuned instrument resonating with the frequency of abundance works well. Every positive affirmation, every action aligned with your goals adds to this tune that the universe sort of responds to.
But it's critical to get that this isn't passive. The law of attraction here is a call to conscious creation. You need to be actively aware of your dominant thoughts and deliberately nurture the supportive ones. It's not magic conjuring riches, it's the natural result of cultivating a clear, confident, focused mindset on success.
Yeah, what's really interesting is the idea that when you truly believe your goals are inevitable, you unlock aligned actions. Opportunities you might have missed before suddenly become visible, almost like the world was waiting for the right signal from you. Every idea, every plan, every effort becomes a step toward that abundance.
And it feeds itself, right? A self-sustaining cycle. The law not only brings rewards, but strengthens your belief in your own potential. As you see real results, a new connection, timely advice, and unexpected gain, your confidence grows, amplifying that magnetic pull even more.
Exactly. Positive thoughts tend to fuel positive outcomes, which then empower you to think bigger with more conviction. But the book warns, harnessing this effectively isn't just positive thinking alone. It needs that balance with deliberate, unwavering action in the real world.
And being open to those subtle signals seems so important. Those little coincidences, conversations, fleeting ideas, they could be the universe handing you new possibilities, invitations you might miss if your mind isn't tuned in.
Practically speaking, cultivating this starts with consciously practicing gratitude, actively acknowledging successes, however small, as proof of your mind's creative power. And at the same time, actively identifying and letting go of doubts or negative beliefs that weaken your overall vibrational energy. The more you affirm your right to abundance, the more you set the energetic stage for prosperity.
So, the law of attraction here is really about being a conscious creator, aligning inner vision with purposeful action, staying open, and operating from a mindset of abundance and belief. Okay, moving to chapter 4, we hit the power of definite purpose. Why is this considered so fundamental?
Definite purpose, according to the source, is like the absolute bedrock for any significant achievement. It's that clear, unwavering vision, your personal North Star, guiding everything you do. Without that clear direction, even persistent effort can get scattered and, ineffective. It's more than just a general goal. It's a deep conviction that turns aspirations into a tangible, compelling direction.
It's about cutting through the noise, anchoring yourself to one clear objective, and that focus acts like a magnet, pulling in opportunities that fit that specific vision, like a lighthouse guiding ships.
Exactly. When your purpose is solid, you start turning abstract dreams into concrete, actionable plans. And that starts with deep introspection. Really looking at your strengths, your genuine desires, your core values. You got to ask, what am I really good at? What truly excites me? What unique value can I bring? The answers start pointing towards your authentic path.
And with that clarity, you can build a detailed blueprint, not just for money, but for a life that really feels like you. A well-defined purpose doesn't just state the goal. It compels you to take the practical, sometimes tough steps to make it real.
What's incredibly powerful is how it acts as a filter for decisions. When every potential opportunity or challenge gets viewed through the lens of your definite purpose, all those daily actions start lining up into one cohesive strategy. You start seeing opportunities where others see roadblocks. Every setback becomes a lesson that sharpens focus, doesn't derail you.
It gives you an internal compass, right? Keeping you pointed toward the long-term vision, even when things outside are chaotic. In a world where markets shift fast, that steadfast purpose is your anchor, the solid ground you build on. It provides fuel when doubt creeps in.
And with that clear purpose, you can harness your inner force much more effectively, directing it with precision, making your efforts more efficient and way more impactful. Crafting this definite purpose involves setting specific, measurable, realistic objectives, breaking the big vision into smaller, manageable milestones like checkpoints on the journey.
And each milestone hit reinforces the commitment, gives concrete proof of progress, which boosts confidence and momentum. As that cycle builds, the purpose goes from just an idea to a lived reality. So definite purpose is the catalyst turning inner energy into directed action, connecting all parts of your life toward achieving your deepest goals.
Precisely. It's the guide turning scattered ambition into a coherent strategy, the constant when the world's changing, the force ensuring every effort counts toward your ultimate aims.
Okay, so definite purpose gives direction. Chapter 5 then digs into the unyielding power of will. How does will build on that purpose?
Well, if definite purpose is the map, then unyielding will is the engine that drives you along that route, relentlessly. It's that inner strength transforming objectives from just intentions into real achievements, especially when things get tough. And will here isn't just a passing desire, it's a deep, determined resolve, a commitment to consistently act in line with your goals, no matter the setbacks.
The image of a river carving through rock really hits home. It's not just the water volume, it's that continuous, unyielding drive, always finding a way that reshapes the landscape. Our will is kind of like that quiet but relentless, gradually overcoming barriers, turning setbacks into chances to grow.
And this crucial strength isn't a sudden burst. It's cultivated through ongoing, deliberate practice. Every conscious choice, every purposeful action should reflect that determination to succeed. The modern world, with all its distractions and quick fixes, can really erode our resolve. That's why steadfast determination is so rare and so powerful.
Developing this unyielding will is about consciously choosing long-term goals over immediate comfort or pleasure. It requires a disciplined mind that can silence those nagging doubts and fears that inevitably pop up on any challenging journey. When you actively build a strong will, you're essentially creating a mental fortress, keeping negativity out, letting only constructive, driving ideas in. Harnessing this power means recognizing that building will is itself a journey with wins and losses. Each setback shouldn't be a reason to quit, but a crucial chance to strengthen resolve, refine your approach. Every failure met with the will to persevere and learn becomes a stepping stone towards a better strategy. Transforming adversity into advantage is key here. It's through applying our will consistently that we marshal our mental and spiritual forces. When thoughts align with a determined heart, they gain the clarity and focus needed to break inertia, overcome obstacles. And importantly, through this persistence, we learn to trust our ability to navigate challenges and achieve goals. Confidence, as the book says, isn't just gifted, it's built through repeated successes, however small. Each win strengthens the will, creating a self-reinforcing cycle.
Exactly. Practically applying this means setting up supportive systems and habits that reinforce determination. Start with clear, specific, measurable goals tied to your big vision. Recognize every small daily action counts. Resist complacency, stay vigilant, and proactively engaged in pursuing objectives.
Because cultivating unyielding will demands taking full responsibility for your own progress. It's not enough to just dream or hope. You need the inner strength to work relentlessly. The synergy between strong will and consistent action is undeniable. Every bold step is an expression of inner commitment, that driving force. And with each action, you're not just moving closer to the goal, you're fundamentally reshaping your approach and capacity for future success.
So unyielding will is truly the crucible where significant financial achievements are forged. Cultivate it persistently, patiently. Let it be your steadfast companion. Embrace challenges as chances to test and strengthen resolve, because it's through that unbreakable determination that lasting financial success is finally realized.
Right, so will provides the driving force. Next up, Chapter 6 focuses on confidence and belief in one's own abilities. How is this presented as more than just a result of success?
That's a key distinction. Confidence and self-belief aren't just byproducts of success. They're presented as the actual foundation. Instead of passively waiting for fortune, the idea is you become its master through unwavering belief in yourself and your capacity to achieve.
I like the analogy used standing at the edge of a vast canyon. Without confidence, it looks impossible to cross. But with self-belief, that perceived impossibility transforms into a challenge, something tangible and achievable through focused effort and determination.
Precisely. Self-belief makes success feel real, within reach. It fuels the conviction that your efforts will pay off. But it also means overcoming critics, both the external ones and, often more importantly, that internal voice of self-doubt. We all have it.
And confidence isn't static, it's cultivated, built through experience, right? Affirming your skills, stepping outside your comfort zone, trying new things.
Exactly. And crucial to this is reframing setbacks. They aren't proof of inadequacy, but essential lessons. Each challenge overcome builds resilience and reinforces that self-belief.
So self-belief becomes almost like a declaration of independence, trusting your own judgment, your own path, even when others might question it.
Yes, but with an important caveat. True confidence, the book suggests, should be tempered with humility. A willingness to learn, to adapt, to acknowledge you don't have all the answers. It's not arrogance.
That makes sense. And there's this idea that confidence is contagious, that it attracts others to your vision.
Absolutely. When you genuinely believe in what you're doing, it creates an energy. People are drawn to that certainty, that clarity. It can attract collaborators, partners, resources, creating a kind of collective momentum around your goals. Confidence builds bridges.
So confidence isn't just feeling good about yourself, it's a proactive force shaping your reality and influencing those around you. A necessary ingredient, not just a pleasant outcome.
Exactly. It's the bedrock that allows purpose and will to translate into effective action. Without it, even the best plans can falter.
Okay, confidence is foundational. Chapter 7 brings together expectancy and persistency. How do these two work together?
Expectancy, as described here, is more than just optimism. It's this deep-seated anticipation, almost a certainty, that what you're seeking will manifest. It's not wishful thinking. It's a resolute, unwavering conviction rooted in your purpose and belief.
So it positions you to actually see the opportunities when they arise, because you're already looking for them, believing your efforts will yield results.
Right, it primes your mind. Then you have persistency, which is the relentless continuation of purpose, especially when you hit those inevitable roadblocks. Persistent people understand the path isn't usually straight. They see obstacles not as dead ends, but as challenges to navigate or overcome.
And the source argues both of these stem from that internal conviction that success isn't luck. It's governed by these laws we're discussing.
Exactly. It's a belief that diligent, intelligent action naturally aligns with the universal order, reinforcing it and adding momentum to wealth accumulation. There's this interplay between your mental state, your expectation, and the external world. Expectations set the chain reaction in motion.
And persistency isn't just gritting your teeth, is it? It involves cultivating habits that reinforce belief in eventual success, continuously refining your approach based on feedback.
Absolutely. It's active, not passive endurance. It means learning from what doesn't work and adapting, while holding fast to that core expectancy. Setbacks, from this perspective, aren't just tolerated. They're seen as essential parts of progress. They refine strategies, strengthen character, and test that underlying expectancy.
So expectancy fuels the vision, and persistency provides the stamina to keep moving towards it, learning and adapting along the way. A powerful duo.
A very powerful duo. They work together to keep you focused and moving forward, transforming intention into reality through sustained, expectant effort.
All right, that leads us naturally into Chapter 8, the role of a constructive mental attitude. This sounds like it ties a lot of threads together.
It really does.
Yeah.
A constructive mental attitude is presented as the silent architect of financial achievement. It's the framework that holds your will, your expectancy, your persistence together. Your mindset isn't just a mood, it's a constant force influencing every single decision, every action you take.
And a key part of this is seeing challenges not as problems, but as opportunities for growth. That classic reframing.
Precisely. The book uses the analogy of the mind as a landscape. Your thoughts and emotions shape it. Positivity, optimism, resilience. These create fertile ground for success to grow. Negativity creates barren soil.
But this isn't just about pretending everything's okay. It's forged through self-discipline, right? Deliberate reflection, countering negative influences, both internal and external.
Yes, it's an active cultivation. It requires conscious effort to choose constructive thoughts over destructive ones. And you see the interconnectedness here. Your beliefs shape your expectations, which fuel your actions, all within this mental attitude framework.
A positive outlook naturally gravitates towards solutions, doesn't it? It finds value in every experience, even the difficult ones.
Asking, what can I learn from this? When faced with an obstacle, rather than, why is this happening to me? That's a constructive attitude in action.
So the mental attitude acts as both a shield and a catalyst, protecting from defeatism while imbuing action with positive intention.
Well put. And it's a skill you develop. Practices like meditation, journaling, consciously reinforcing achievements, these build that constructive mental muscle. It also has that outward effect, like confidence. A positive, constructive attitude creates this magnetic energy that attracts collaborators, mentors, opportunities. People want to be around that.
And it's dynamic, not static. It evolves with experience, adapts to new situations.
Exactly. It's not about wearing rose-tinted glasses permanently. It's about maintaining a fundamentally optimistic, solution-oriented, resilient stance, even while acknowledging reality. It's the bedrock of sustained effort.
Okay, constructive attitude sets the stage. Chapter 9 talks about intelligent action. How is this different from just action?
Intelligent action is presented as the crucial bridge between thought and achievement. Ideas, principles, even strong will remain dormant without deliberate, wise effort. Think of a skilled craftsman. They don't just randomly hammer away. They act with precision, care, guided by knowledge and inspiration. That's intelligent action.
So it's about acting wisely, combining clear thought with disciplined execution, aligned with these universal laws of success we've been discussing.
Exactly. It emphasizes consciously selecting tasks that directly contribute to your financial goals. Prioritization is paramount here. Intelligent action is also about self-mastery. Knowing when to act, how to act, and sometimes, just as importantly, when not to act.
Because not all actions are created equal. Random efforts often lead to scattered results, wasted energy.
Right. Intelligent action requires analyzing the situation, assessing your resources, and determining the most effective strategy before jumping in. And then timely execution is key. Recognizing and seizing opportune moments when they arise. Readiness is part of it.
Can you give some examples? What does intelligent action look like?
It could be meticulous research before investing, disciplined execution of a well-thought-out business plan, a swift, decisive response to a market opportunity. It transforms ordinary activities into strategic moves. It's about harnessing principles like reciprocity and attraction through how you act.
And it involves constant reassessment, being adaptable, refining methods as you go.
Absolutely. The environment is dynamic, so your actions need to be too. Intelligent action isn't rigid, it's responsive and strategic. It's the practical application of all the inner work.
Makes sense. You need the inner foundation, but then you need to translate it effectively. Okay, after 10, opening the way for abundance. What does this mean?
This principle is about proactively creating pathways for prosperity to flow to you. It's framed as an assertive act, removing obstacles, both internal and external, and constructing clear corridors for your efforts to materialize as wealth.
So it's the opposite of just passively waiting for luck to strike. It's about actively clearing the path.
Exactly. The analogy used is a stream blocked by debris. The water has potential, but it can't flow freely until the obstructions are removed. Opening the way means actively dismantling barriers in your path. This could involve evaluating your methods, identifying limiting habits or relationships, and making decisive adjustments.
And this starts with assessment. Mindfully looking at your environment, your network, your resources, and spotting what's hindering progress.
Yes, that's the first step. Then comes strategic planning, designing that conduit for your efforts to reach their destination. Setting clear intermediate objectives helps build this pathway. It also requires a willingness to embrace change, to experiment. Sometimes you need innovation to build new bridges or clear old blockages.
Does this involve seeking help too? Collaborating, finding mentors?
Definitely. Opening the way isn't always a solo job. Seeking assistance, leveraging networks, finding mentors, these are all ways to clear obstacles and build those corridors for abundance. And it's a continuous process. It requires persistent vigilance, regular review of your path, and ongoing adjustments to keep the way clear for prosperity to flow.
So it's about actively engineering the conditions for success, not just hoping they appear.
Precisely. Taking control of the factors you can influence to maximize the chances of your efforts bearing fruit.
Okay, active path clearing. Chapter 11 introduces the principle of value and merit. How do these fit into the wealth equation?
These are presented as deeply intertwined concepts. Essentially, wealth is seen as a natural consequence of the genuine worth you create and offer to the world. Value isn't just about money, it's measured by your tangible output products, services, but also intangible qualities like integrity, originality, reliability.
So the focus shifts to committing to offering real worth. Things like innovative ideas, excellent service, products that genuinely solve problems.
Exactly. And merit is the recognition of that value by the broader world. When the merit of your work is acknowledged through sales, reputation, opportunities, it becomes a self-reinforcing cycle. More value leads to more merit, which enables creating even greater value.
And value creation starts in the mind, requiring disciplined analysis, creativity, understanding needs.
Yes. And it necessitates self-improvement, continuous learning to enhance what you can contribute. You have to keep increasing your capacity to provide value. Merit, then, is earned through that persistent, intelligent action we discussed, demonstrating excellence and the worth of your ideas or execution.
How do you apply this practically? Measuring impact, seeking feedback?
Those are key. Measuring the impact of your actions, honest self-assessment of the value you're providing, actively seeking feedback to improve, and recognizing the value isn't static. What was valuable yesterday might not be tomorrow. So it encourages a proactive stance toward innovation and adaptability to keep offering relevant worth.
So wealth follows value. Focus on creating genuine worth, ensure it's recognized, and the financial rewards tend to follow naturally.
That's the core idea. It shifts the focus from just getting money to creating value, which then attracts money as a consequence.
All right, value creation is key. Chapter 12 is the art of capital investment.
Yeah.
How does capital fit with these more internal principles?
Capital money, resources, is presented as a vital tool that multiplies your inner drive and the value you create, but only when it's employed wisely. Investment here isn't just stocks and bonds. It's the deliberate placement of any resource, time, energy, money for financial return and to amplify future achievement.
So, it requires both analytical precision and creative vision, seeing potential where others might not.
Yes, capital acts as a catalyst. It gives tangible expression to your ideas and efforts, allowing them to scale and have a bigger impact. Wise investment can transform small beginnings into vast prosperity, but it needs a disciplined approach, like a gardener carefully tending seeds, not just scattering them randomly.
And it involves assessing risk and reward honestly, understanding uncertainty as part of the game.
Absolutely. Uncertainty is reframed as opportunity for those prepared to analyze it. Intelligent investment is presented as a calculated effort, not a reckless gamble. Diversification is also highlighted, spreading capital across different endeavors. Like a sculptor working on multiple pieces, it mitigates risk and opens multiple channels for wealth creation.
And this links back to value and merit, investing in ventures that offer genuine worth and potential for expansion.
Exactly. You're investing not just money, but belief in the underlying value. And of course, continuous learning is crucial. The world of finance and investment is always evolving, so staying informed is vital for making wise decisions. Patience and persistence are also key in investing, allowing time for growth and compounding.
So capital isn't the starting point, but a powerful amplifier once the inner foundations and value creation are in place.
Precisely. It leverages all the other principles when used intelligently.
Okay, Chapter 13 discusses the strategy of financial autonomy. What does autonomy mean in this context?
Financial autonomy here means achieving a state of self-reliance in wealth creation, where your internal resources, your skills, knowledge, will, purpose become your primary assets. It's about taking full command of your financial destiny through disciplined planning and a deep belief in self-determination, rather than being overly dependent on external systems or employers.
Like an independent artisan crafting their own tools and destiny.
That's a great way to put it. It emphasizes building a resilient personal framework that can withstand market fluctuations and changes in external systems. Central to this is self-investment, continually pouring resources back into yourself, enhancing your skills, knowledge, and capacity to create value and success independently.
And diversifying income streams plays a big role here, to avoid vulnerability.
Yes, having multiple sources of income is a key tactic for building autonomy and resilience. The mindset involves continuous self-improvement, candid assessment of your successes and setbacks, and proactive adaptation. Adaptability here isn't just reacting to change, it's proactively refining your approach.
And keen awareness of timing and opportunity in the market seems important too.
Definitely. Autonomy requires being attuned to the environment, ready to act decisively. Achieving it is presented as a disciplined march towards self-mastery, blending careful analysis with calculated daring. It's about becoming the primary driver of your own financial engine.
So it's the ultimate goal of applying all these principles, becoming financially self-sufficient and resilient.
In many ways, yes. It represents a high level of mastery over both internal forces and external application.
Got it. Now, Chapter 14 tackles navigating risk and opportunity. These often seem like opposites, but the book pairs them.
It presents them as inseparable companions. Understanding how to navigate both is seen as a powerful tool for growth. Risk isn't about recklessness. It's defined as stepping into the unknown with purpose and preparation, acknowledging uncertainty but not being paralyzed by it.
So evaluating risk requires a clear mind, weighing potential dangers against potential rewards, using both analysis and maybe some intuition.
Exactly. And crucially, opportunity often hides behind that very uncertainty. Progress usually requires stepping outside comfort zones, which inherently involves some risk. The factors that make a venture seem risky can sometimes be the very catalysts for extraordinary success if navigated intelligently.
It emphasizes balancing boldness with prudence. Strategic planning, not just rolling the dice.
Absolutely. Intelligent risk-taking involves gathering information, analyzing trends, understanding the potential downsides, and having contingency plans before acting. Diversification comes up again here as a way to manage risk while capturing multiple opportunities simultaneously.
And embracing risk is linked to innovation, opening the door to new possibilities.
Yes, a willingness to embrace calculated risk is often necessary for significant breakthroughs or innovations. And every trial, whether it leads to immediate success or a setback, provides valuable knowledge. It refines your judgment for future risk assessments. The chapter also highlights the intimate tie between risk, opportunity, and timing, recognizing the right moment to act is crucial.
So risk isn't something to avoid entirely, but something to understand, manage intelligently, and use strategically to unlock opportunities.
Precisely. It's about transforming potential threats into calculated advantages.
Okay, managing risk leads us to Chapter 15, the dynamic cycle of reinvestment. This sounds like making money work for you.
Exactly. Reinvestment is the process where the dollars you've earned become the seeds for future wealth. It's presented as a strategic, continual process that transforms short-term gains into lasting prosperity, not just spending or hoarding profits.
The gardener analogy again, setting aside the best seeds from the harvest for the next planting cycle.
That's a perfect analogy. It requires discipline, resisting the urge to consume all profits immediately, foresight to identify promising future opportunities, and adaptability to adjust strategies. A key part is analyzing the outcomes of previous endeavors, both successes and setbacks, to refine where and how you reinvest next. Learning from experience is vital.
And there's a dual focus, preserving the capital you have while seeking growth through diversification.
Yes. Protecting your base while strategically allocating resources to new ventures or expanding existing successful ones. Constant monitoring of the external environment, market trends, technology shifts, consumer behavior is essential for making smart reinvestment decisions. Flexibility is crucial too. Being prepared to pivot if initial reinvestment plans aren't working out as expected. Regularly assessing performance is part of the cycle.
And this links back to value and merit again, channeling resources into projects with the potential to create even greater value.
Absolutely. You're reinvesting not just capital, but also your confidence in the potential for future value creation.
This continuous cycle of earning, learning, and reinvesting becomes a powerful engine, driving you towards progressively larger financial milestones.
So it's about keeping the momentum going, leveraging past successes to fuel future growth intelligently.
That's the essence of it, making your wealth generative.
Moving towards the end, Chapter 16 discusses innovation and adaptation. How does this fit with principles that seem quite timeless? Innovation here isn't about discarding timeless principles, but finding new ways to apply them in a changing world. It's seen as a natural evolution of thoughtful progress, embracing new ideas, technologies, and methods, and adapting them to work with foundational laws like inner force, reciprocity, and purpose is crucial.
Like a seasoned artisan incorporating modern tools to enhance their craft, not abandon it.
Exactly. Innovation means questioning the status quo, exploring novel approaches, and adapting effectively to a constantly shifting financial landscape. But the source stresses respecting those established laws as the foundation upon which new ideas should be built. Innovation is enhancement, not rejection, a symbiosis of modern methods and time-honored wisdom.
And adaptation is the practical side of that, applying innovation in the real, fluctuating world.
Yes, adaptation requires ongoing learning, openness to feedback, and readiness to recalibrate strategies quickly when circumstances change. Innovation and adaptation are also deeply intertwined with risk. Accepting measured risk is often the price of admission for significant innovation. The chapter also mentions social synergy, how collaboration and diverse perspectives can spark inventive strategies. Innovation isn't always a solitary pursuit.
So it's about staying grounded in principles while being flexible and creative in applying them to current realities.
Precisely. Honoring the roots while reaching for new branches.
Chapter 17 emphasizes the strength of strategic alliances. Why is collaboration so important in this framework?
Strategic alliances are presented as the backbone of a well-rounded approach. While self-reliance is key, collaboration is seen to amplify individual strength. Mutually beneficial relationships unlock synergies that individuals alone might not achieve. It's not weakness, but a source of multiplied strength through a network of diverse expertise, resources, and perspectives.
Like a well-tended orchard, where interconnectedness helps everything thrive.
That's a good image. Alliances allow you to leverage collective strengths, overcome individual limitations, and access broader opportunities. But forming alliances requires discernment. Choosing partners with complementary skills, shared values, and ethical conduct is crucial for success.
And true collaboration is about more than just networking. It's about transparent exchange, joint pursuit of goals.
Yes, it's about creating something greater than the sum of its parts. The network itself can become a living laboratory for innovation through the interplay of diverse viewpoints. Pooling resources for larger ventures, sharing risk, enhancing potential returns, these are practical benefits. Strategic alliances transform individual aspirations into a collective force with far greater reach and impact.
So autonomy doesn't mean isolation. Strategic collaboration is a force multiplier.
Exactly. Knowing when and how to collaborate effectively is a key strategic skill.
Okay, nearly there. Chapter 18 returns inward with the discipline of self-mastery.
Yeah.
This feels like a capstone principle.
It really is. Self-mastery is framed as the silent architect of enduring success. It's that unwavering discipline, aligning your actions with a greater purpose, moment by moment. It means taking command of your mind, your emotions, your habits, ensuring your inner drive isn't squandered on trivialities or overcome by impulses.
So it's a dynamic process, continual self-cultivation, aligning daily habits with those larger financial aspirations. Like the craftsman again, with deliberate movements.
Yes, self-mastery transforms potential into refined action through consistent routines, reflection, and conscious choice. It requires honest self-appraisal, knowing your strengths and vulnerabilities to overcome procrastination, doubt, and distractions. A core element is placing long-term objectives above momentary gratifications, delaying immediate pleasure for future gain.
And every financial decision becomes a test of this. Budgeting, investing, even deciding to learn something new.
Absolutely permeates everything. Continuous self-improvement is part of building this mental strength. Remaining focused amidst the noise, cultivating an inner sanctuary through practices like meditation or mindfulness, these support self-mastery. It's also deeply linked to accountability, taking personal responsibility for your actions and outcomes without excuses. Self-mastery creates the internal framework that supports every other financial effort.
It sounds like the operating system running all the other programs effectively.
That's a great way to think about it. Without self-mastery, the other principles might not be applied consistently or effectively enough to yield results.
Finally, Chapter 19, the pursuit of knowledge. Why end on this?
Because knowledge is presented as the quiet force that transforms potential into tangible success. It's the driving energy that refines every other principle in action. Learning isn't an accessory. It's framed as the most reliable companion on the path to wealth.
Like the mind as a reservoir, expanded by learning, nourishing the ability to see financial dynamics clearly.
Exactly. Every piece of information, every insight gained, contributes to a growing arsenal of strategies and understanding. And this education isn't just formal. It happens in every interaction, every challenge, every book read, every conversation. Continuous study and reflection convert fleeting ideas into powerful tools.
Humility seems important here too, acknowledging there's always more to learn, and courage to explore unfamiliar ideas.
Yes, and seeing every challenge as a lesson, refining your understanding of these success laws, being receptive to wisdom from others, mentors, peers, even competitors is also part of this pursuit. And in today's world, the access to resources for continuous learning is unprecedented. It's about seizing that opportunity.
And the pursuit of knowledge is itself an act of self-discipline, prioritizing learning.
It absolutely is. Each moment dedicated to study fortifies your mental resilience, sharpens your decision-making, and ultimately enhances your capacity for wealth creation. It fuels the entire engine.
Wow. Okay, that's a comprehensive journey through these principles. So, wrapping up, what's the core takeaway message from this deep dive?
I think the core message is that financial success isn't just about external tactics or luck. It's a holistic blend of deep inner work, cultivating forces like will and purpose, understanding and applying fundamental laws like reciprocity and attraction, and taking consistent, intelligent action.
Right. It's about building yourself first, cultivating that inner force, harnessing these principles, investing in self-improvement, knowledge, self-mastery. And all these principles, definite purpose, will, confidence, expectancy, alliances, innovation, they all work together synergistically to transform a vision into reality.
Exactly. It's an integrated system, not just a collection of tips.
So, a final thought for you, listening. As you reflect on all these principles, which one resonates most strongly with you right now? Which one feels like the area you could begin to focus on, to apply immediately in your own pursuit of knowledge and wealth? Something to mull over.
Definitely food for thought.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the principles of mastering wealth. We'll see you next time on Deep Library.